everyone. In this, there are two different types of information flow that have different treatments. Transform flow. Overall data flows in sequential manner and follows one or only a few straight line paths. Transaction flow. Info flow has a single transaction node that triggers other data flow. So this is the incoming flow that transform center, and outgoing flow here is two-way. So transform flow. Incoming flow, transform center, outgoing flow. Incoming flow, the paths that transform the external data into an internal form. Transform center, the incoming data are passed through a transform center and begin to move along paths that lead into out of the software. Outgoing flow, the paths that move the data out of the software. The system has a single coherent objective. Transformation center executes algorithms, data transformation, database manipulation. Input driven processes filter, check and translate external data flow. Output driven processes format results for presentations to the environment. Multiple paths to obtain input. And these are all the methods and transaction paths. Transaction flow, information flow is often characterized by a single data item called a transaction that triggers other data flow along one of many paths, action paths. The transaction is evaluated and based on its value flow along one of many action paths. Transaction center, the hub of information flow from which many action paths originate. Single line of reception processes. Transaction, transaction center and action path implement. Action path could be completed. Transaction, a single data item that includes all necessary information for execution. Transaction center evaluate transaction and initializes correct action path distribution. Action path implement different types of functionality and its execution. An action path could be a complete system with transform flow characteristics. And transaction analysis mapping heuristics. Transaction analysis may include transform analysis as an element. And these are all the elements. And design steps. Step 1, review the fundamental system model. Step 2, review and refine data flow diagrams for the software. Step 3, determine whether DFT has transform or transaction flow characteristics. Context level DFT, user input, user selection, new string, string conversation system, reversed string, character count, appended string. And level 1, it's user input, valid input, choices and reverse strings, count characters, append string are there. And step 4, isolate the transform center by specifying incoming and outgoing flow boundaries. Different designers may select slightly differently. Transform center can contain more than one bubble. Perform first level factoring. Program structure represents a top-down distribution control. Factoring results in a program structure, number of modules limited to minimum. First level factoring, main, input control, count, character controller, output controller. And step 6, perform second level factoring, mapping individual transforms to appropriate modules. Factoring accomplished by moving outwards from transform center boundary. Step 7, refine the first iteration program structure using design heuristics for improved software quality. Second level factoring, main, input controller, count, character controller, output controller. In input controller, get the string, count character controller, read character, increment count, output controller, display output. So a single data item triggers one or more information flows. It's validate input, display choices, get user selection, reverse string and count characters, and finally append string. Review the fundamental system model, review the defined DFT for the software, determine whether the DFT has transforms or transaction flow characteristics, identify the transaction center and flow characteristics along each of the action paths. So in this step 4, we should add some few more points. Isolate incoming path and all action paths. Each action path evaluate for its flows characteristics. Step 5. Map the FDFT in a program structure amenable to transaction processing.